Good morning. Happy Tuesday, June 17th. We are more than halfway there.
You're gonna have to sign in.
What?
It signed you out right
Oh, okay.
every
Of
time.
course. Only for a live broadcast. Now I got to check the phone. Nope, plug in. Okay, we got lots to talk about today. Send it in.
Yep, no, you're good.
Okay, so Paramount Title last week did a very good job. That was fun, wasn't it? We're gonna do more of that. I think Lee, please come on first today,
Yes.
right?
Yep.
So
Morning.
tech savvy. Just let me back if you would. Tech savvy, virtually secure, 5-star service, and we'll match any price. So keep that in mind. There he is. So any news for us today?
Nope. We just wanted to thank you guys for showing up on Thursday. It was a lot of fun. And we are open to any ideas that you guys have for any other upcoming trainings. I know they could get kind of redundant and repetitive and boring. And I know all that information is important, but we want to keep it kind of fun too. And just to let you know, Megan's in a leadership meeting this morning. So she asked me to step in.
Yep. Super cool.
Yep.
All right. No video, no video. Good morning. It's all working. Mr. Simmons, I got you up next.
Oh, wow. Right on.
Okay, that's when you got real close to your mouth. Remember?
Okay.
It's for everybody online too, so you're good. Yeah, give us some love.
So if you don't remember, Thomas is our partner in our Brandon office, but he's decided to venture out a different task. So he still owns the office. Office is doing very well. And Thomas is into a new line of business. It's pretty much very interesting, but we don't know much about it. So I'm gonna let him explain his pitch.
Okay, guys. Well, good morning, and thank you for allowing me to be here. Yes, it's been a while, you know. But I decided to diversify my income, if you will. And as you know, I'm an entrepreneur, so I decided to get into life insurance business. And coincidentally, it kind of coincides exactly what we do here. And as you're working with buyers, buyers also need mortgage protection. What is mortgage protection? Mortgage protection options is when we put a life insurance policy to protect their mortgage just in case, God forbid, they pass away, become critically ill, disabled, and then they will go ahead and take care of the mortgage for them.
Protects their family.
It protects their families. Okay. So we also have whole life. We also have a debt forgiveness program as well, where it actually helps accelerate you paying off your mortgage. Okay. And then at the same time, be able to add income for retirement. So there's a lot of different options that we have. And I thought it would be great to present that to you so you can present it to your buyers. Also, how many people in here have life insurance or don't have life insurance?
No.
Yeah, right. Okay, exactly. So there's a lot of people that don't have it where now, you know, we talk about beggings, right?
Yeah.
Right. We want a balance of everything. Now we can offer this as well to you. Okay, because a lot of corporates, they already as an employee, you get that option, you know, as being an employee, right? What people don't know is that when you leave, that stops, right? You got to start paying for it. So if we can implement that with the beggings now, it'll be a win-win because there's you know, we have your IRA, but people don't have life insurance. And it's really sad because, you know, people pass, it happens, it's part of life. And then they have to do a GoFundMe, right? Because they don't have the funds to do the burial.
But what are the 4 Ds? Death, debt, divorce, diamonds, and diapers.
Right.
So death is the first one. People die, and that's why we get listings, that they have to sell their house.
Right. Exactly. And there's 3 reasons for causes of death: is heart, cancer, and accidental. Okay. So you need to just be proactive, if you will, and think about this, and also think about yourself. So the cost can start as little as $25, $30 a month, depending on your age, the amount. And your health. Okay, so if you'd like to know more information, please give me a call. My number is 813-220-9017. And you can also email me at SimmonsAgency88@gmail.com. And I did open up my LLC. It's called Simmons Financial Agency. Yes. We have about 40 different carriers. So we have Americo, we have Mutual Omaha, we have Foresters, many different carriers, because I'm really considered an insurance broker. So that allows me to work with different carriers. Great question. Thank you.
Check the numbers. That's your right number before I post it.
Yep.
Yes.
9017.
220-9017. Yes, ma'am. Just life. Thank you. Now, we also do annuities as well. I'm not certified to do annuities, but we do have people in the company that can do that.
Nice.
Okay. Yes, there is an age limit cap for life insurance. It's 85. Great question.
Really good question.
I think the benefits that we can present to our clients as well is it's not just life insurance. You think of life insurance, you immediately think of somebody has to die to get life insurance. There's a lot of other ways to structure that protection to help protect the buyer. There's also critical illness type clauses inside of there. So if you end up with a critical illness like cancer or something, like he was mentioning, that will be available, the payout would be available to help the family pay for the mortgage and things if that happens. It's not just death. There's so many other reasons why you would need and want some type of protection for your family, especially somebody who's a single income household, or where you are the primary breadwinner and the other income isn't enough to cover any of those expenses in the instance where something happens to them, to their business, to their health, to whatever. You have protections in place, and that's one of the big reasons to have a conversation about that with Thomas.
So how do we carry that conversation? We just give you a call?
Yes, give me a call, and then I can do all the legwork for you.
Okay.
Okay. All right.
How long does it take to get a quote?
For me to give a quote,
Hold that up a little
15 minutes, about 15 minutes, 10 to 15 minutes to give a quote. It's my fiduciary responsibility not to oversell them. So I do a financial assessment with them to see if it is within their budget. Okay. Because at the end of the day, we don't want to default on their policy.
Right.
Right. You know, if their car breaks down, are they still able to make the payment? That has to be a yes. Does it make sense?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Okay. Any other questions?
No,
All right. Well, thank you.
we're happy to support you.
Thank you. And I just wanted to say to you guys, you know, some of you may not know Craig like I do, but this guy, he's a really good guy. And he's really been there for me, you know, when I was going through my situation, if you will. And I love him for that. You know, he gave me a call, always checked up on me, and he's a good man. Thank you.
Yeah.
All right. Appreciate it.
You got it. Okay, so the right side of the screen says, this is the front thing of keeping current matters this month. The rising share of price reductions suggests that a lot of sellers, are anchored to prices that aren't realistic in today's housing market. Today's sellers would be wise to listen to feedback they are getting from the market. We're going to talk more about that in a minute. Would you read that for me?
Which one? Where we at?
Enlightened perspective.
Your enlightened perspective for today. Your experience of life is a reflection of your perspective, not your circumstances. Change your perspective, change your life. Just a different way of saying it's not what happens to you, it's how you react to what happens to you.
Yeah.
You have to understand too, perception becomes our reality, but your perception came from your mind. You have two people have the same experience, have a different perception of it. I lose a contract, I have a perception that there's another contract waiting for me. Somebody else loses a contract, their perception is, oh my God, I'm not going to be able to feed my family. I'm not going to have this. I'm going to miss that. That becomes your reality. So if you can change your perspective and just take an opportunity to say, hey, maybe I can look at this a different way with anything that's going on in your life. Look at it a different way. Let's shift those perspectives in any moment, because just because that's how you feel that it is in that moment doesn't mean that's the reality, but it will become your reality if you lean too much into it.
Think about Oprah Winfrey. The tough life she had, and now she's one of the richest women in the world. Right? Same perspective. Monday's recap, it's not always price. Consider condition, motivation, and competitive incentives. That's a big deal. Class was on that yesterday. Yep.
So think about these things. So we talked about this a lot on Monday about price and about positioning and about incentives. It's not always the price, but price comes first. If you're not at the right price and you're not getting the views that you need on the property, who are you incentivizing? Right? So we can offer whatever incentives that you want on any listing that you have, but who are you really incentivizing if you're not even in the price range? So really the first focus is always, let's make sure we get into the right price range. As long as we're priced competitively where other people can see it and other people are looking at it, now it's a good idea to start trying to incentivize the people that are there that we've already got their attraction and their attention. What do the builders do? Right? They incentivize a lot, but typically they're in the right price range as well. They're competitive. They have to be competitive. They got to be competitive with the other builders that are selling inside that area. So we need to consider all those options, offering HOAs, offering different incentives for rate buy downs. Does it make more sense to take a reduction in price or does it make more sense to give an incentive?
Depends.
Depends, right? The buyer might want a lower payment or the buyer might want to just have the closing costs to keep cash in their pocket. We don't know what that is, so we have to make sure that everybody understands that we can become more visible with what we're offering. So Monday's talk was a lot about that. Make sure you sit down with your manager. I would highly recommend every single one of you, if you have listings, sit down with your manager sometime in the next week or two and just review the pricing. Let's just go through a pricing analysis of it with a second set of eyes. Because again, what did we talk about? Perception. Your experience of life is a reflection of your perspective, not your circumstances, and it's not always reality. Get a different perspective on that listing and let's see it from a different perspective. And then let's make sure that we're constantly communicating with our sellers and giving them updates regularly. Yep. So a couple events that are coming up tomorrow. Instead of a normal 9 to 9:30 class, tomorrow we're doing an extension of our Contracts University. That's going to be tomorrow, Wednesday, from 9 a.m. till about 11. That's also going to continue on until Friday, 9 to 11 as well. So the morning meeting tomorrow and Friday is going to be an extended morning meeting from 9 to 11 a.m. We're digging into the Contracts University. It's going to be listing contracts tomorrow. Tomorrow's discussion is going to be going over the listing agreement. So for those of you who want to be bored by all of the lines that are in the listing agreement, we're really going to dig in just to make sure everybody fully understands what each portion of the listing agreement means, ways to strategize to discuss it with your sellers. We're going to be talking about all of those things tomorrow. We're also going to go into all the supporting documents that go along with the listing, when you would use which ones, why you would use them. And then we're going to cover objections and then questions. And then Jimmy and I are putting together cool little games so we can try to make it as fun as we can while we're going through looking at all of the lines in the contract.
Well, we know that some of you out there really like to read that stuff.
Yeah. So, and then,
But you do need to be able to explain it.
yeah. So I'd go through, and there's a video that's online in Beggins University. I just go through. This is how I explain the listing agreement to a seller without going into every single line. It takes about 3 to 5 minutes. Mr. Seller, here's what this is, blah, 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 and just go right through it. So we'll probably do that tomorrow as well. Just take the 5-minute overview of how you explain it to a seller. Typically, you like to ask them, hey, did you have time to read through all of this, or would you like to go over it together? I'd like to go over it together. Good. Do you want to go line by line, or do you want me to give you the Cliff's Notes version? I'd like to just get the Cliff's Notes version. Perfect. Figure out what they want and give it to them.
Yep.
Did you have a question? Both tomorrow and Friday, Wednesday and Friday, are going to be in person and on the daily training huddle. So it's going to be an extension of our normal daily training because it's going to go from 9 till about 11. So if you're in person, please come on in. We'll be doing we'll be trying to do some exercises and live role plays and things like that afterwards. So come on in and get to be a part of that. Thursday, we are going to be closed for the Juneteenth national holiday. So it's a federal holiday, Juneteenth. We will be closed. The offices will not be staffed. You'll be able to get access to every single one of the offices via your Kissy app. You'll have access to any of those things. There is a couple, like Sun City typically is manned, and there's usually somebody else in one of the other offices. So if you happen to need something, you'll still have access, be able to print, do whatever you need. Send your emails to the proper people, listings at C21BE, contracts at C21BE, closings at C21BE if you happen to need something, and we'll make sure that we try to get to it accordingly.
Yep. Stretch labs.
For those of you who are local, just a real quick pitch. If you're looking to do something for your health and for your body, one of the most important things you can take care of is yourself, because you bring yourself everywhere you go. Stretch Labs in the local area is doing, for Beggins agents, they're doing free 15-minute stretch outs to show you what that company is all about. If you want to take some time for yourself and get yourself treated well, check out Stretch Labs here in the Ruskin area. They'll take care of you.
I
Take a
go
look at
twice a
Craig.
week, and I love it.
Yeah. Craig's been doing it like bi-weekly, right? Multiple times during
Yep.
the week. And take a look. Craig sent out an email if you're interested, because you can actually go and schedule that time.
Yep.
Yeah.
Online or by phone.
Yep. So before we jump into this section, the previous page, let's talk about tracking your buyer broker agreements. We just fully understand that the buyer broker agreement you have is a contract. Those contracts are trackable. That's going to help us track your business. What's one of the most important things you can do in your business?
Track it.
Track and measure. Am I getting the things that I said I wanted? Am I getting the outcomes that I said that I was after? So we can track and measure that through your listing agreements, through your BBAs, through your pipeline. So we want to make sure we're doing that. And then also one of the other benefits that we have of that is we're tracking those things to help in one of our contests for the Elevate 21, which we'll talk about in a little bit. You want to talk about the power?
All righty.
Yeah.
Okay. So
You
real
want
quick.
my mic?
Oh, I'm good. I'm good. I'm just trying to find the email. Did you have the email up already?
Let's go to sales meeting. Go back. You have to go to sales meeting. It'll be in there.
Colored red.
Yes, ma'am. Down. If I have a BBA that's going to be expiring in the midst of a contract, do I need them to do a new BBA? Just like our listing agreement, it does state that in the event of any contract, this will be extended until the closing. So one of the things with our listing agreement, it states we have a term from here until here, a 6-month term. It says that any contract shall automatically extend the terms and obligations of this listing agreement. Your buyer broker agreement is going to read the same way, that any contract will automatically extend that till that contract closes. So the obligation will still be there for the buyer to compensate you. If you wanted to, it can't hurt to extend it, just for clarity, because what's going to happen if that contract cancels? If that contract does cancel, the buyer purchase contract, if that cancels, you want them to still be under contract with you. So we want that protection to keep us connected. So we might as well just go ahead and try and extend it anyway, but you are protected for that specific contract.
So how many people took a look at the email Friday for the tip of the week on the open house stuff that's out there? Everybody take a look, maybe not. Raise their hands online. Okay.
You
Yeah.
wimps.
Thank you, Stephanie.
You
I
gotta
appreciate
check
it.
your email.
So I just want to go over this real quick. We have a cool new tool, and actually I put it all together on an open house, all the nice kind of technology tools that we have on an open house side. So the email is going to go through adding an open house sign-in sheet to your website, having that open when you have an open house. And if someone logs in and it signs in there, they go directly to your Moxi Engage. I did a video because I've had a lot of people ask me for open house flyers, and there wasn't a video that was specifically done. So I made that for you. So now you can have a 2-minute video that walks you through how to create an open house flyer and how to add a QR code. So give some, like, the neighbors around the area, if you're doing a 5-5-10, like a call to action to take a look at the property. But really the nice thing that we have on here is the new open house attendee Moxi presentation that's available for you. Thank you, Michael Rickenbach, for the idea. I completely appreciate it. So how this is going to work is when you do an open house, the idea is you do an open house, you get your client's information that comes through and stuff like that. There's a couple things you can do. If they're signing in directly to your database while you're in there and they're walking around the house, if you want to be really efficient while they're walking around the house, you go in and you create a presentation, and I could do it in like 30 seconds and it's basically done. Okay. And then you send it to them or you text it to them while they're there, right when they're finished up. Hey, I'm going to send you a presentation. Or at the end, when you go through all of your database that came through the open house, you want to send out this presentation. So Jimmy, why do I need an open house presentation? It's really just to show up better to the people that came through and give them something that they can look at after they've come through, instead of just, hey, thanks for coming in, let me shoot a text. Let's give them a little bit more, right?
What's one of the questions that a lot of you ask? What do I say before the open house and what do I say after the open house to everybody that came through? What I'm supposed to call you and see if you just wanted this house? You didn't seem interested when you came through the house. I'm just going to call you and ask you, hey, are you sure you didn't want that house? It's just another way for you to connect and communicate with the
Yes.
people after the open house, provide some value, stand out differently. What's everybody else doing? Hi, just following up. Just using that FU script. And hey, just following up. Just wanted to see if you wanted to like that house. I want to provide some feedback to the seller. You're not serving them as a buyer. So if you want to serve them as a buyer, use something like this to prove that I'm worthy of earning your business. Here's what I do. Here's how I handle my business, and I show up and stand out different.
So go ahead and pull the
But
presentation.
remember
up.
this, though, you don't need a BBA if it's our listing, right? But if they don't like our listing, don't you want to work with them on other listings? So you want to start making that presentation now. It's like, oh, you are different than everybody else. I'm going to work with you
So
on my other listings too.
And we know that when you use this tool, at least for our agents, the agents that use this tool on a regular basis make $46,000 more than those that do not use this tool. Okay. So I'm just gonna leave that out. So what we've done for you, it's pretty basic. What you're going to do is you're going to go create this presentation. The first one is a thank you. Thanks for showing up. I appreciate it. And then it calls out what else is in the presentation on that first page. There's going to be the buyer video is going to be built into it. There's going to be the steps in the buying process. You can scroll down and look at it if you want. Then there's also going to be kind of how we do business, kind of what to expect. So you have the video that's in there. You have what to expect from me. Then you have the buyer process. Now, the only work that comes into this that you need to do is if someone is coming into the house, they're looking for a house, right? And what's the percentage that someone who attends an open house buys it?
Like 2.
It's like small, right? So we want to provide something to them. Wouldn't it be cool if you sent them a few properties saying, hey, here's a few other properties that might meet your needs? Okay, cool. So what you're going to do is you're going to go in and don't go into MLS and make all this stuff. Just use this because it's short and sweet. Pick a few properties. Say, hey, I've chosen a few other properties that might meet your needs that were similar to this one here. Let me know if you have any questions. And all that's in here is a map to show where they're at. Okay, I did not choose this the best because the property is down here and I picked stuff in Andalusia. But okay, it is what it is.
For demonstration
for
purposes only.
demonstration purposes. There's 3 properties here, and then there's a side-by-side comparison of that versus the open house that you were just in. That's it. There's nothing else. There's nothing that talks about pricing. There's nothing that says, hey, this is your closing costs. There's nothing in there but that, just to give a little bit more value. Yes, sir.
That's different. You have a buyer
Yes.
presentation.
Yeah, so the so the way to use this, so there's 2 presentations that you're going to use for a buyer. There's the buyer marketing presentation that literally walks through everything, all the steps and how you do and how we do business. There's copies of the EBBA in there that actually explain. There's things that talk about inspections and why you need an inspection and loan terms and all these different things to really set the tone for doing business.
But does every buyer who comes to an open house need that? How many of them are nosy neighbors, just drove by and saw a sign, and you're just trying to stand out differently because they're not going to read any of the 27 pages of our buyer presentation because they're not there yet. We just want to meet them where they are. Where are they? Just looking.
Cool.
That's what
So
this
let me send
presentation
you a
does.
few other things that are just looking. So I had an agent the other day. This might answer it too. So I had an agent the other day. I was on open house. They didn't have it. They didn't have buyer representation. They loved working with her. So they want to work with her. So guess what presentation she's sending? The regular buyer presentation that walks through all the steps, what an EBBA is, that kind of stuff, versus someone who just shows up.
What's more value than a buyer valuation tool?
A buyer evaluation tool is when a buyer says, hey, I think I like this house. Is that really worth $500,000? Can you run some numbers for me? And then it's basically like a CMA for a buyer. So you can do that. So I wouldn't use that with this because again, we don't want, unless they say I want to write an offer, then you can do something like that. This is more just, hey, and remember, this is all fed from MLS. So if you have those 3 properties that are active that are similar and one of them goes pending tonight, it's going to automatically update in the system and it's going to look like you've been updating this presentation for them as you're going. Any questions on that online? You're welcome.
Yeah, just
Yeah,
trying to get you
understand.
more tools.
This is not done by all Century 21.
This is the more tools to get you to show up different, to create more connection and more communication, because there's not a single closing or commission check that did not start with a connection and communication. You're going to get past that initial, hi, welcome to my open house. Okay, now how do I get them to kind of connect with me a little bit more? Do that through the open house a little bit. Use some tips and tricks that we've given you other ways during the open house, and then send this afterwards. We're just going to try and take it one more step further than anybody else.
All right, next up, showcase of the week. You're gonna have to go to the email probably for that. We'll go quick on that.
There's 2 of them.
I do want to just say
pick one.
thank you. Thank you for everybody that's using Showcase. The last probably 4 weeks have been a blessing versus the
first.
3 months prior to that. So you guys are following the procedures. We're getting things taken care of. So I truly appreciate you stepping in, learning how to do it, because it's making all the listings team and my team much easier to make sure that we are getting these things up and we have this showcase here is for Jenny Bell. It was on the market for 5 days, had 730 page views, 43 saves, and 12 shares. You can zoom in just a little bit more for me. You can actually see this is a report that you actually can get if you do a showcase. One of the things I like to call out on this, yes, it's awesome that you can see that everyone's looking at better. I like this one here that says email engagement. So Zillow sent 136 emails when this thing went listed. 136 emails to their database about this property. We have 32 of them were opened.
It's an amazing open
That
rate.
is an amazing open. So awesome job, Jenny, with this property.
And she got the 5 photos up,
She did.
carousel work.
Can agents file liens?
We've got 2 issues with this going on right now.
This happens a lot. So the answer is going to come inside of the contract. The contract says what can happen and what can't happen if you want
So who's the contract between
buyer and seller.
buyer and the seller, or in our case, for liens, we're the buyer's agent, so the buyer broker agreement between us and the buyer. But between the brokerage and the buyer. I've got 2 cases now where agents have filed liens against the seller, their buyer. It's a joke. It's a violation of the Florida real estate.
It is not, I don't know if it's illegal, but I just watched a video. There's a really, really cool agent that's on TikTok. I'm sorry, no, a lawyer that's on TikTok. She's a real estate attorney. She does videos about this. She just did a video about this saying that your contract specifically says that a lien cannot be filed against the property for that contract. And an agent cannot file a lien. It's actually, she was saying it's illegal for an agent to do that. And if you do it, it can be considered fraud because you're doing something that you are not protected by any regulations or any laws. So by filing a lien against the property as an agent against a seller, unless your listing agreement says that you can, you are actually acting in an illegal capacity and committing fraud and can be sued back by trying to file a lien against a seller's property for a sale.
And one of the guys is a major social media person. And he did a podcast on it, talking how bad it was.
I don't know. Like if everybody knows me as the lien footer owner.
Yeah. Where is this? Where is this primarily happening? This is primarily happening through investment type purchases, wholesale type purchases. That's where this is primarily happening. You're seeing a lot of wholesalers calling to get properties under contract. They will say influence a seller to sell their, or not even a seller at that point, influence someone to write a contract and sell them their property for significantly less than what it was worth a lot of times. And then that wholesaler is going and marketing the property to their buyers to try and sell it for more and pocket whatever the spread is that they get. A seller at some point becomes aware and knowledgeable that they feel like they got taken advantage of. So they go to an attorney. The attorney looks at the contract, goes through all the steps, tells them whatever they tell them, and the seller decides that they're not going to adhere to that contract, or they find a reason that the buyer defaulted. And then these wholesalers are going and saying, I'm going to put a lien on your property. I'm going to file an injunction against any further sale. You can't do that. And they're going and doing it, but they have no rights to do that. Tell you, if this ever happens, bring it to us. We'll go to an attorney. The attorney will go and look through everything. The attorney will then have the ability to go to and send a cease and desist of some kind, probably to the buyer, let them know they're acting illegally outside of any rights that they have. Florida law does not protect what they did, and you'll be able to get some protection, circumstance by circumstance. But there's lots of this has been starting to come up, and we're getting to title, getting to a week or so before closing, and some of these are popping up. And then it's going to take us taking another step or two to get an attorney involved to take those next steps and get that cleared. It doesn't matter who's going where. There's agents or people putting liens on contracts on properties saying that they have a right to buy the property. They're putting a lien against it.
Or they've got a right to earn a commission on it.
Yep. So there's certain companies
And
like
they don't.
Some companies, some listing brokerages in their listing agreement, it says we have the right to put a lien on the property for our commission. Ours does not say that.
No.
But some companies are putting that in their listing agreements. So some sellers should be aware that that's inside the listing agreement that they're signing with certain brokerages. It does give them that ability to put a lien on the property and file this contract, the listing agreement, for commissions if a property is sold and they didn't, and they feel like they're not going to get paid.
But let's say Jackie has a BBA with a buyer, and the buyer violates that BBA. Jackie goes to a lawyer and files a lien against that. Can't happen, because the contract is not between Jackie and the buyer. Should have to come to the brokerage. So the brokerage will make a determination. Do we want to put a lien on that property, sue the buyer? Because the agent can't sue the buyer. Only the brokers can sue the buyer.
Yeah. So there's just a lot of nuances with that are going on. If you run into a scenario with that, please just knock it up the ladder. We'll deal with it and we'll discuss.
What's wrong with this? There's something called truth in advertising, right? And we also have a Century 21 policy and procedure manual. This is in one of our agents' email signature. Business broker at Century 21. This agent is not a broker, number one. And what Century 21 do they work with? Truth in advertising means I can find out who you are and where you work. I took their name out, but that's just, you can't do that. You can say broker associate if you're a broker associate. You can say sales associate, sales executive, but you got to put Century 21 Beggins, list with Beggins or VE3. You can't just use Century 21 marks without your DBA. The DBA is you're doing business as. So please make sure your email signatures are right, because we didn't set that up that way.
Okay. So we always have some great surveys come through for our agents. Just want to share with you some of the things that people are saying about you guys and just give you guys some kudos for all the hard work that you do. Pay attention to some of the things that they're saying. Just keep this in mind as you're dealing with your consumers. These are the things that they look for. These are the things that they're calling out that were important to them. And this is why connection and rapport is so important. You'll understand what's important to each client and being able to deliver that.
So the first one here is this is Kristen Miller.
That was just,
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah. I trust Kristen's recommendations on staging, marketing, pricing, etc. She worked very hard in helping me make the house attractive and welcoming. She also hosted frequent open houses and made sure the property looked good and was welcoming. Besides being a trusted resource, she became a friend, and it made me comfortable to know that Kristen's expertise is exactly what they needed. I'll be happy to recommend Kristen anytime, and will vouch for her professionalism and warm personality.
Great job, Kristen. The next one, Miss Watson was wonderful to work with and ensured I was part of the process and understood what was happening the entire time. Before I met WIPA, I worked with another realtor and lender, and it was a horrible experience, which I ended up walking away from that property. WIPA helped me find a new lender. We got to work. I happily closed recently, and I highly recommend.
Why don't you read that last one? It's really a lot of words. Why don't you read that?
We are so lucky that a friend of ours referred us to Shannon Peterson when we started looking for a beachfront. Since she is local to the area, she knew all the buildings and could help point us in the direction of what we were looking for. She was always very pleasant and easy to deal with, and even looked at some condos herself since we couldn't be there to make the showing. My wife and I highly recommend Shannon, and she is definitely the best realtor that we have ever dealt with over the years when buying properties. Thank you, Matt and Desiree.
Oh,
Awesome job, guys.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm going to try to find some bad ones next week. Take the names out. I can't find bad ones. Really, I can't find. I'll put them up there and show you. Because some people say what they don't like.
Yep.
I just can't find them because you guys are doing such a good job.
Real quick.
Elevate 21's coming up July 20th through the 23rd. We have about 40 people that have registered. Please do not forget to do so. This should be an awesome event. Not attended a Century 21 event. It's always a great opportunity to meet people, like-minded people, and grow your business. And because of that, we are doing a raffle. So I know we've been running this, and we're running this for about another month or so. But basically any Moxi presentation that you send in, even if you do the new one, the open house attendee, you're going to be put in for a raffle.
But
for
you
all of
gotta
these
put
things
it
that are on the screen.
In your dot loop, or we're not gonna know about it.
Yes. Oh, put your EBBAs in your dot loop or we will not know. So
And
you
submit
can't just
for-
say, hey, I got it. I got 25 EBBAs and they're in my car in a folder, Jeanette. You need to put them in dot loop. So we can turn around and we can track that. We can't track it if we don't know it's there. And then you can't come to me and say, hey, I forgot to put these 30 EBBAs in.
Well, I forgot to put your name in the raffle box.
Like, I forgot to put your name in the raffle box. I'm sorry. So anyways, we will be doing the drawing on the 14th. So please you don't even really have to do much. We're tracking it all. You just need to do the stuff that we need out there.
And a quick reminder, Contracts University, tomorrow, Wednesday, 9 to 11, Friday, the 19th, 9 to 11, and then the following Friday from 9 to 11 as well, which is the 27th. It's just an extension, Contracts 202, doing a little bit of a deeper dive.
We're just about done.
Yep. Just a reminder back to Showcase, ways to stand out differently. Jimmy was actually on a call with a different brokerage, Century 21, that was talking about doing Showcase. And every time, like, he's in the office with me, so I hear him go through all these things. And like, I know all of them, but as I hear him telling these people about it and I see their reactions, and these are brokers and brokerages, and they're like, wow, they are blown away with some of the things that Showcase does. So if you don't know everything that your Showcase can do for your listing and you're not presenting it to all of your sellers, you're missing out. So one of the things that, just as a reminder, on Zillow, they always have that recommended offer strategy on a Zillow page, just a regular Zillow listing. And it's basically taking whatever the average list price to sale price ratio is in that area, which in a lot of areas, it's about 93 to 96% of the list price. And they're saying that is a strong recommended offer price. And that is what they're advertising right below your price and your listing. You have a $500,000 listing. They're saying a strong recommended offer price is $475,000. You want to get rid of that? Pay for a Showcase. It'll take that off. It'll take the Zestimate off. So those things get removed. It'll also do all of the work for you. Remember when we showed the Showcase thing that they sent out 136 emails? The minute your property hits the market, they're sending emails to people that already have that saved. And they had 132 open. So that's 132 more touch points that we have for buyers who are interested in that property because they told Zillow, this meets my search criteria. Send me any updates that you have.
And those are single property emails. They're not like 5.
It's just for that one. Hey, are you? And then they send them emails after that. I said I was interested in one of my properties that I owned. And then a week later, are you still interested in properties in this zip code? Then a week later, are you still interested in the property at this address that I was in, that I said I was interested in? They do constant touch points. Just another way for you to touch base with people and stay on top of it.
All righty. So that's going to finish it up for today.
Yep.
Thank you so much for joining us. And please, what day is it? Tuesday, right?
Tuesday.
Happy Tuesday. Go ahead and have fun with your office roundtables and meetings the rest of the week. So have a great week. Hope to see you on Wednesday and Friday for the contract classes.
Yep.
Over.
You don't have to make the sound.
Are you on a walkie-talkie?
Over.